Hello. So obviously the news that isn't so good at the moment is lots and lots more news media and WHO and everything are saying, oh, it looks like Europe's having a second wave of corona. That's just what we need, isn't it? I think we were hoping that what might happen is that you'd get a bit of a spike, but otherwise, you could keep it pretty flat until there was a vaccine. But apparently, no, the numbers are shooting back up again. I'm sure a lot of this has nothing to do with people going out to do whatever they wanted in public in big numbers because I won't get it, that sort of attitude. But evening, everybody. I do have some other good news, at least. Well, I have to have a think what the good news is. One of the bits of good news is I bought some more free M6035 filters, and they fit this strong M50F, whatever it's called, that Hype sent me. So that's really good now. So it means that I can actually wear this with filters I prefer than those pink round ones, because these actually have waterproof cases or water-resistant cases. Right, people have got a notice for this one, that's good. Don't forget to like the stream. Hopefully the lighting looks all right, because you might notice a new light there, and it's because Audi now do cheap LED bulbs. So I was able to put an LED bulb in that lamp. So there you go. That bulb sticking in there is the one I had in there before, but yeah, you can buy LED filament bulbs in various sizes in Audi now, which is great because yeah, hello everybody. So when people are saying what the best masks to get, wow, whatever you can really get a hold of at the moment. Oh, something interesting. I thought I'd mention this now, but I've not got round to doing it yet. Teespring now lets you print face masks. So at some point I'll get around to putting lots of the gas mask pictures on actual little face masks. So for anybody that wanted merch with pandemic sort of anti-cough masks that has a picture of an S10 or something on, you're welcome. But I just thought that was funny that you can make your own face masks on Teespring now. But yeah, so anyway, that's the good news. The 3M filters work pretty well on this. Well, very well on this, much better than the others, because the thing is with these filters, you've got more leverage to put them on and off. Whereas the other filters, I did really hate that they kind of don't go on very well. So another interesting thing, but this is nothing to do with Corona, but I'll just bring it up now while I remember, is I figured out with this, you can turn the really annoying speaker off without breaking it. That's really annoying, Sturgeon. I mean, somebody's a bit of a cunt, aren't they, if they steal a mask? Yeah, but So, yeah, it turns out you can disable the sounder with this, so I've done that. The easy way of doing it, it literally unscrews at the bottom. So if you wanted to put the sounder back on, it's a bit more difficult with it in here, but basically, you've just got a little bit that unscrews, like a cap. Well, 3M is a brand, Chris, but they have a specific kind of way their filters attach. Well, I think, Bruce, based on previous pandemics, but the problem's been with this one is, never underestimate stupidity of some people basically saying, well, I'm not going to follow the rules. So, yeah, then you get one of these little tiny sort of BNC type connectors. And then, yeah, you just put that into there. That's probably, again, would be way easier if I took this out of it. So, yeah, I'm just going to take it out of the thing to do this. So, yeah, if you're interested, this is what this looks like, sort of semi out of its thing. So if I reach the cable back through, it's probably easiest just to do it like that, isn't it? To get the cable to fall through. But again, there's not enough. There we go. Get that through there. Poke them both through, and then I can attach the annoying sounder on again. There we go. And then now we've got the annoying noises back, which is what I'm sure you all wanted. So we've got our what's it, and the sounder. Interestingly, you can adjust the volume of this by rotating this, because it covers up the holes more or less efficiently, to the point it's really loud or not. But anyway, there we go. So I just found that interesting. I'll get around to filming a proper video on the Plessey PDRM at some point. But yeah, if you get one of these and you find a really loud ticking annoying, you can adjust the volume by turning the thing, or you can just unscrew the audio connector from the bottom. If anybody wants me to reread out a comment or something, just repost it, because at the moment I've just been playing about with that Plessey, so I've missed the things. Yeah, if people were saying why has Hong Kong got more numbers, it's just because Hong Kong is more honest with the numbers than mainland China. You know, I'm sure when the CCP totally takes over Hong Kong, that won't be the case, but yeah. All right, second shifter. Yeah, that's the thing, Special ID. The longer this goes on, I think people are just going to accept that masks have to be normal for a bit. What's interesting is when I go back to work, our company is providing us with PPE. But in all honesty, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, you know, because I imagine my masks would be a bit better. Can I say, can I just use my mask? Because, you know, it's better. But we'll see. We'll see what they offer me first. But that's one of the things I'm kind of worried about with some people, you know, is if they're doing jobs and they're not really being provided with good PPE and they're also not allowed to wear it, especially for like people who are doing like supermarket work or whatever else. Yeah, I saw you posted lots of pictures of clocks, Keaton. Thank you very much, Joey. I appreciate that. And that Vic said he bought dump it again. That's annoying, Henry. I mean, there's not much I can do about that, but yeah, unfortunately, if you make videos on YouTube, you will get dickheads just come onto your videos to abuse you. It's just something you either have to basically get over or not make videos, sadly. I mean, I know it's a shame it ruins it for people, but that's why the block button is there on videos, you know, in the comments. You can block people if they are abusing you, but it's a shame because there are people, I think, who want to make content and then never do because, you know, they just get bullied out of it by people who think they're great because they don't make any content themselves. But, you know, an N95 mask, Chris, is basically like, you know, the very basic surgical style masks. They're normally like blue, and they normally just loop over your ears, and it's just normally like kind of a rectangle. Not yet, Ethan. Post it again in here if it lets you, because the problem is now I haven't had loads of time with, you know, things to keep up with comments. So basically what will happen is now and again I'll reply to a load of comments in bulk, but then there'll be a lot I just miss just because they're done at times when I can't. The problem is, Helvetica, is glasses obviously don't cover all of your eye. So if there's stuff flying around in the air, they're only going to stop stuff directly going in like that. Lots of goggles are designed, obviously, to give you sort of like airtight or watertight protection for your eyes. You can make them filter the exhaust stuff very easily, Sinmonger, and the way of doing that, as I've showed in other videos, is basically any mask like this. You can normally take the exhale valve cover off, take that off, get a bit of tissue or whatever, pop that in there, sandwich it in. The valve will still work and let air out, but it goes into a tissue. So it will essentially, it's not handy in this room, Ethan, so I can't do it. But literally all you do is you turn the tap and then blow into it like you're inflating a balloon. Or, you know, like an old beach sort of ball or something like that. All right, Vladimir? But it is very simple. If that isn't working, you've probably got a bit of ripped rubber on it somewhere that's not, you know, keeping the air in. There are a few person whose name I can't pronounce, but for the most part, for cats and dogs, you just want to get like one of those sort of tents the entire family can sit in. Or I think you can get the dog crates, can't you, that have like a filter system built into them. I have no idea, Chris. You'd have to look up the entire list of chemical agents and see if helium fits into one of the things. Sadly, not enough, that, Vic, I think. I think a lot of people forget this happened as soon as possible and then start repeating the same mistakes. Yeah, you turn it to open the valve so you can blow into it. They might have done military in surplus, I don't know. Lots of countries now, I mean, some of this ATROC Campbell is due to better testing, but a lot of it, sadly, just seems to be the numbers are going back up again. You know, and some countries now are having, and again, they do have better testing now than they had before, but they're reporting, you know, like 3/4 of the numbers per day that they had at their worst peaks. Right, for the people saying what mask do you recommend, what's the best mask for this, look at the videos I've done suggesting that the problem is at the moment, it's really, really hard to recommend masks to people because everything keeps selling out. So there's not much point me saying, get this mask, get that mask, just know what criteria you have to look for, basically. Yeah, I think most of us thought there'd be a second wave. It's just quite worrying it's happening this fast. That, you know, most doctors thought it would be during the flu season would be when it would hit badly. But it seems we're getting there even before then, which is quite worrying to think, you know, if you have a second wave even before the flu season starts, what's going to happen then? China blatantly still has it, Chris. It's just they cover a lot of it up. Mostly military and surplus. People can ask questions about masks and whatever if they want to, but, you know, most of it is generally more COVID I wanted to talk about. I've never seen them Helvetica like the half face masks with a voice diaphragm cover, but I think it'd be fine. I mean, they let through a decent amount of air with one filter. It's just, it's much easier with two. Oh, thank you very much, Apache Helicopter AH64. Thank you very much for some Norwegian kroner, I assume that is. Thank you. Yeah, Special Eddie says the more filters on the mask, the less inhale restriction. It also comes down to the quality of the filters and everything else. Yes, if you can get MF11 for $25, get it, because, you know, you've at least got a decent mask, even if some of them have a bit crap straps. No, a gas mask is not overkill for coronavirus because they're reusable. The problem is lots of the sort of masks people are wearing are the ones they have to keep throwing away every day or two. The only thing I can think of, Tigran, which wouldn't be very damaging, would be to get some washing powder, you know, as in the washing powder for a washing machine, not like Tide Pods, like, you know, modern things, but the old-fashioned washing powders, like, you know, Daz. Get some of that, apply it to a damp cloth and gently wipe it, and a bit like how you'd clean a bit of carpet if you stained, you know, the carpet with wine or something. You can replace the straps. It's just annoyingly there's not many places that sell the better straps for it, because essentially, I'm just trying to carefully put this mask down here so it doesn't knock the keyboard and like knock it off. So with the Chinese masks, right, the straps, the current generation of straps on like the MF11D are really nice, and they use the same mounting system as the older straps do. So in theory, if you're able to buy this head harness and strap system on its own, you could fit them to like the other like FMJ05s, MF11s, and all that, and they'd be much better. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things, Mr. Misha, isn't it? Where you kind of lose even more faith in humanity when you realize somebody might kill you just because they ask you to wear a mask. I mean, here you'll get people that like spit at, you know, shop workers that ask them to put the mask on as the law requires. But, you know, it's what another thing to shoot or stab somebody, isn't it? Yeah, for washing that secure mindset, but would that have been something like an S10 or like an M40? That's fine for modern rubber masks, but he was asking the person earlier about like an old sort of fabric style mask. Well, I think there's a lot of stuff down Vic we can't really trust with the CCP, you know. Yeah, this is the problem, Philip. I think just due to people's stupidity, unfortunately, a lot of it, you know, some of it isn't people's fault, but a lot of it does seem to be, you know, what something that should have been months away is now weeks away or days away because, you know, people decided, oh, why can't I just go out and see massive groups of people? And I think what makes it really difficult, as I said, is for all the people that do follow the rules, even when it's bad for them, you know. But then, yeah, so I was getting distracted by the person spamming the chat with weird stuff. But yeah, basically, what was it I was saying? That yeah, like when we had to go to my grand's funeral yesterday, it was limited to 24 people. You know, you couldn't have a service after the funeral, all of that stuff. The vicar had to wear a face mask when he was doing it. We all had to wear masks in the funeral. Wearing masks in the funeral didn't bother me. But you know, nobody could sing. I don't like singing at funerals anyway because it's all out of tune and horrible. But you know, everybody just kind of had to read the words. You know, when everybody was meant to be singing. So it's just very strange, but it's annoying, isn't it, that everybody following the rules. You know, we were limited to like 24 people at funerals, and you know, before that, people had even less people at funerals, and there was a point where people couldn't even attend funerals, which was awful for the parents who had their like kids die from corona. And then you've just got these idiots like, oh no, I want to go out to tear down a statue, or I want to go and just lay on a beach, or go have a corona party. Thank you for the people who are sending respects, but just to warn people, if they say F to do with like a relative dying, I'm tempted to ban you because it's incredibly disrespectful. The thing is, I'll give you a pass because I don't think a lot of kids know that you don't seriously say F to people. Right, time to hand out some permabans. But some mods on anybody who says F, give them a permanent ban, please. Chadiversity can stay for now because I don't think he realised, but the person who did it straight after I said not to. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Sturgeon, but yeah, it's a bad time for it, isn't it, at the moment? Because again, like with my grandma, I think, you know, if it wasn't for corona, I think she'd have lived longer. She didn't die of corona or anything. It's just, you know, with a lot of people, the isolation and that, I think, just wears them down faster, you know. It was a stupid Call of Duty meme, wasn't it? Because I think it was on one of the Call of Duty games. You went up to a coffin and it was like press F on the keyboard to pay respects. But you know, it's just kind of weird when you get like these kids who think it's a socially acceptable thing to do. Like, you know, it's like when people are seriously talking about dead loved ones, you do not say F. You know, it comes across as you being a cunt, isn't the you know, thing. But yeah, like Mon said, I don't want the whole stream to get derailed on that, but it's just one of those things that, you know, I think when Mike's dad died, you know, Weapon Collector, I haven't seen him come on this stream yet, but he might come on. He was, you know, he was explicitly warning people not to say F, you know, because they would just get an instant ban, even if it was a joke, you know. Did you punch him in the face, Mystic Gamer? Not that I condone violence. Oh, too late. He's gone. Yeah, it's really strange, isn't it, Arctic Fox Airsoft, how lots of these things, like, there's lots of things that are bad, like, you know, it's like, I can't understand, you know, like how you can't have kids going into school classes over a certain size, you know, you can't have funerals over a certain size, but people are allowed to, you know, go on protests. Well, I know a lot of the time they're not allowed to go on the protest, but it's just the police aren't really arresting them because it's bad optics. I'm not sure if there's a good answer for it, Helvetica, but in most countries now we're being told to wear masks to protect ourselves and other people. So I would just say it's there for your protection, you know, as well as mine. Here's the thing. A lot of people, Roush, don't like being told to wear masks, but I think most people can understand the necessity of it. And as I've said before, I really can't understand why the government would want people to wear masks as like a control measure. Because, most of the time the government wants to see everybody's face all the time on CCTV. Big brother is watching you. When there are masks on, that's a lot harder. The brilliant thing at the moment is I never get ID'd in shops anymore because, shop workers can't be asked to, ask you for ID to then not be able to see most of your face because you're following the rules and wearing a mask. So, it's easier for me. I can just, if I'm buying booze in a supermarket or whatever, nobody ever says, "Oh, I need to check your ID, sir." I think, Marcus, it really depends on the mask, though, doesn't it? Because some gas masks certainly wouldn't be very comfortable for a while. But you're right, Peach. All right, Braden. Well, here's the thing. I think there's ways people can protest to make themselves heard without going into the streets. And to be honest, I did see some protests, where everybody in the protest was standing apart, wearing masks, using hand sanitizer and all that. And I thought, good on them. But then you get the people who just want to use anything like this as an excuse to just go out and break the rules because, because a black person I didn't know in America got killed. That means this gives me the right to, go and commit vandalism, which is a completely fucked up thing because, again, the people who do that have no respect for the people that have actually died due to police brutality or whatever, they're protesting about. It's just something they can jump on as a bandwagon to, up to you, Beagle. If you're comfortable doing it, I'd say do it. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it, Second Shift, that you can walk into a bank now with a mask on your face and that's the acceptable thing to do. Bizarre, isn't it? I need to shave again tonight, but you'll probably notice that what I'll end up doing again is shaving like that. So, as long as my masks still fit like that, I'm not losing a tash. Oh, well, that's all right, Prospector. At least they were protecting themselves with GP5s, but I suppose if they had the original filters on, then I have seen some good pictures, though, of like entire families wearing NBC gear in shops, which is quite funny. Depends on the bank. A lot of them don't. I mean, probably in America. Over here, I think, some more probably banks that hold more money would, but in a lot of the ones near me, it's just kind of like some, security sort of plastic. Right, thank you, Bella. As I said, it's kind of a complete distraction when people want to bitch about it or compliment me on it on a stream because it's not really what we're here to talk about. Well, I just literally said what I thought about all the protests. Even if people are doing protests for good reasons, it's stupid to do it when there's a pandemic on because they're also killing other people, potentially through spreading a virus. And as well, the longer this goes on, the more people that will be out of work, the longer it will take economies to recover, therefore killing, and impoverishing more people in the process. Yes, Joseph, I do. I've been wearing a mask in public since March when the lockdown started. Different masks depending on what I'm going out and doing and how long I'm going to be out. But yes, I wear masks in public and people actually thank you for doing it now, as opposed to looking at you weird like they did to begin with. Yeah, exactly, Rich. I was saying that to my dad the other day. I was saying that same thing that, people moaning about not being able to breathe with a mask on are certainly going to struggle to breathe a lot more when they're on a ventilator. Oh yeah, that's the thing, Jesus. I think if somebody is protesting for something they think is, a good cause to protest about, I have more, sympathy for that than somebody who's just like, oh, I want to go for a day out and take no precautions. Because the thing is, if somebody went out to the beach and they went really far away from other people, that's absolutely fine. They're allowed to do that. But it's just all the people that basically go to spots that they've been told not to go to because they're overcrowded. Well, going through a valve, they would a bit eat your vegetables. But again, like I've said before, it's very easy to just put a bit of paper over the exhale valve in a mask and have it work like a surgical mask. I'm not ignoring you, Train Spotter. I've not seen any comments, unless you're talking to somebody else. All right, I'm not going to get too political about people, but as I've said, political violence is always wrong. I can only ever understand political violence if it's in retaliation for violence done against somebody else. But even then, I don't think it's a good thing. But, I can understand a lot more if people were being killed, why they might want to fight back sort of violence. But right, military surplus. If you want to make sure you get a real 3M mask and not a Chinese knockoff, although there are some all right Chinese knockoffs, but I'd say, again, if you're going for a Chinese knockoff 3M, probably don't go for the ones that pretend to be 3M masks. Go for the ones that they don't claim are, 3Ms. Hardware stores, generally, because they have to, buy them properly from 3M. So in the UK, we have Screwfix, but a lot of those places are just out of stock at the moment. All right, see you, Richard. Have a good evening. If you're on Twitch later or whatever, I'll see you then. Right, the point is, Werner Christoph, is that basically if you've got a surgical mask over your face, so I know this isn't a surgical mask, but it's a face covering. So you've got this over your face, right? And yes, this doesn't completely cover your face, and air can get in the outside, in around the outside. The point isn't that basically it's blocking all the air coming in and out. It's that a lot more of the air that would be coming out when you exhale is getting stopped by the mask. Because if you feel it there, you can feel it's like now damp and warm. And the point is, it lowers the amount of spread. It's not a measure that will completely fix everything, but until we've got a vaccine, it's one of the best things we can do, sadly. Yeah, I'd agree with you, Special Lady. I prefer an actual gas mask as well, that you're not inhaling air you've just breathed out, because not all of it's left the mask properly. Yeah, Bots is on his wrong account because he's not got a spanner. Yeah, that's the point. It's like the face shield thing. In some places, you can wear a face shield under the mask, and that's like a riot visor. And the point is that spittle and all that is hitting the visor. I would complain about that, HGMTB. I would write a letter to Morrison's thing, seeing if you can get compensation. I don't mean necessarily to get compensation, but I'd actually write a letter or an email, to their head office and say, I was kicked out of Morrison store for wearing a mask, even though it's the law. I would actually do that, in all honesty. Yes, chlorine gas is an inorganic vapor, I believe, but you'd probably want at least B2 rather than B1 because that catches vapor better. Well, the problem is military and surplus. Riot helmets obviously don't filter air. I would say it's much better to wear a mask like this. The reason riot masks work in a sense is because they're just stopping your spittle flying as far. But over here, basically, the face shield type masks are being worn by people for whatever reason that for their job can't wear a regular mask. As I was saying to somebody earlier, Digital X Mage, unfortunately, you'll probably get a lot of abuse from random weirdos on the internet. So as long as you're happy to put up with that, or you can manage to put up with that, that's fine. But sadly, somebody who's one of my subs and donators started doing videos recently, and I thought his videos were all right, but by the sound of it, a few other people saying he's already had so many abusive comments, he doesn't want to make videos anymore. And sadly, that's just the way of it with YouTube. No, there is no rules against it whatsoever, Ethan Kent. You basically should be doing that at the moment, because the better your mask is, the better it is to wear it. I could understand if an employer didn't want you wearing a gas mask, because it might look scary for customers. But I'd seriously have issues if there are employers that don't let you wear any kind of face mask. You think they would, Beagle, but I think weirdly a lot of people don't put two and two together like that. Like, I have a gas mask. There's this virus. I'll just wear a face covering, Arctic Fox Airsoft, I've already said I have several times in this stream. That's good. But yeah, I like Lidl. I bought a load of shit in Lidl yesterday. Because when we came back from the funeral, we went to Lidl on the way back to do some shopping. And I was going to buy a single malt whiskey, because apparently the single malt whiskey you can get in Lidl is actually all right, but they were sold out. So I ended up just getting... I'm pretty sure he has donated in the past, Marcus, because he's on Discord. Oh no, it's another creepy comment. Oh, somebody's already got him before I had a chance. If I get an FMJ08, I'll review it. But again, the exact problem is I don't currently have it. Wait, so is it a different train spotter on Discord? I'm really confused now. Is Croatia doing a good job or a bad job then, Yona or Jonah? Apologies if I butchered your name's pronunciation. Because I know there's been some places in Europe that have been doing a really good job, but, you know, weirdly in Western Europe, where we pretend we're really smart and know what we're doing, we've been horribly messing this up. Oh, I am glad they're doing a good job. But yeah, that's the thing I found funny is the Czech Republic as well did a really good job from what I heard. But again, they told people to wear masks right from the beginning. They didn't play about. They didn't say, oh, in a few weeks you now have to wear a mask. And then in a few more weeks you have to wear masks in some more places. Oh, that's cool, Oscar. I haven't actually heard about that, though. Unless you're talking to somebody else. Well, as I said, Helvetica Note, if you've got Valve masks will stop some stuff, because basically, a bit disgusting, but if you have a mask on, let's say a half-face respirator for like 20 minutes, then you take it off, there'll be sweat and condensation from your breath and your face still trapped on bits of the mask. So anything that's inside the mask hasn't left it, has it? Again, surgical masks are good for catching just droplets coming from your mouth. But as I said before, there's literally nothing stopping you just putting a tissue in front of the exhale valve with like a respirator like this. And then, again, you fixed it. The best of both worlds. Oh, the clock in the background, the Nixie tube clock. It's not Soviet, but I think it might be Soviet tubes in it saying that. Hype sent it me. So it's a Chinese Nixie tube clock, but I have a weird feeling he said the tubes in it are like Soviet surplus Nixie stock. But, right, the Sparrow, I don't have rum tonight, but I've had a really annoying day today in the sense of I've been waiting in all day for a delivery and it didn't come, even though the tracking said it was coming today. And it was like a sign for thing. So, you know, it wasn't one where they could leave it around the side and then I could just pick it up at some point during the day. No, it was signed for delivery. It was meant to be coming today. They never showed up. I could complain about parcels. Oh, has everybody seen the latest thing that couriers are doing that's really, really annoying? They don't ring the doorbell anymore because your doorbell might have germs on it. Weapons and Stud 93. I like that. But has he donated, Marcus? Because I'm getting really confused now if it's a different train spotter that's donated. It was Parcel Force Premium, Ethan. I don't like Parcel Force, but this is the premium one that's normally been fine. Oh, thank you very much, Delagado. I think it's cut some of your name off. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. And he says, thanks for being you. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for donating. But, yeah, the Parcel Force 24 service is normally quite good because normally they always deliver it before 12 in like the afternoon, you know, so it normally comes somewhere between like 9 and 12 in the morning. But today, basically, it was out for delivery, except it never came. And I didn't get a train spotter. Do you know when you donated? Because I can actually check this up. Yes, I call them Parcel Fast. I can look up this actually now because Super Chats, it lets you look through them. So let me have a look. So I do show all, then I type in your name, which is Train Spotter. He has donated. So yeah, what's his Discord ID? Right, thank you, Nico. It's a distraction on these streams. It looks better when I comb it as well, and put wax in it, but I don't do that all the time. But anyway, sorry, the chat's moving a bit fast now. But TrainSpotter, if you post your ID again, I'm sure one of the admins can get you invited into the server. I don't know if Altrix or anybody's on that can do that. Yeah. This is the thing, Sparrow. It's like, what's really annoyed me is, there was the other day I nearly missed a parcel, and it wasn't even a parcel for me. That's why it was so annoying. It's, it was a parcel for my mum, and I said to her, I'll wait in for it. Nearly missed it because there was this very faint on the door, literally like that. Not somebody going do on the door, but just barely heard it. I didn't even think much of it because, the doorbell didn't ring. Thank you very much, Philip Batchelor. I appreciate it. So the doorbell didn't ring, so I thought, it's probably nothing. But I went to have a look, and then there was a courier just walking away from my drive with a box. And I said, "Oh, didn't you ring the doorbell?" "Oh, we're not allowed to. There's germs on the doorbell." He has donated, Marcus, because I looked it up. But yes, so, and then the postman did that today as well. It was actually a postwoman today, but she did that. It's a good thing I have CCTV, because that is literally a lifesaver, because you can just leave a little CCTV monitor running, or just, a tiny little CCTV window on the thing. And just to prove it, see, CCTV of the front of the house. I've got up on my phone all the time. So basically, as well as recording it in case there's any trouble, it's good because you can actually see if a delivery person's been or not, or, you can actually see if it's a Jehovah's Witness coming to the door, so you know not to answer it. Or you can see if it's actually a courier of a parcel you want. All right, Mike, whereabouts are you in Germany? You're having quite a big peak somewhere in Germany. Is it Saxony the peak was starting? I can't remember. I hope you're right anyway. The Lee Enfield number 4 isn't very rare at all. It was the mass-produced one, like partway through World War II till like the 50s. The only thing I'd be careful of with there, Henry, is obviously there are channels that do try and imitate me that get taken down because they are like fake channels. I don't mind it so much if it is kind of somebody just doing it for meme value or for the fun of it, but it's just kind of, bear in mind there are a lot of people that do it maliciously. So they can try and pretend to be me and then go like, oh, I support terrorism or whatever in the comments. Yeah, annoyingly, I lost some of my money on a thing recently, bots. When I bought a load of different things, one of the things I bought was a US CDV 717 that a UK seller had. Because, I can just buy one from America, but the shipping and everything makes it ridiculous. And the CDV 717 isn't very practical. Anyway, I thought finally getting a CDV 717 for like £50 or whatever it was. But of course, the seller used Hermes. Hermes lost it. And then because the process of them trying to contact Hermes for it dragged out so long, and I didn't want to just go, oh, they're refusing to cooperate with eBay, give me my money back, it expired, so I assume I'm never getting this now. But right. Let me add TrainSpotter if nobody else is going to do it. But what I'll do is once you're invited into the server, I'll remove you from the friends request thing, because otherwise people spam me with questions all the time and it gets annoying. There's a few people I do let PM me through Discord. It says Powell or Pavel underscore CZ didn't work, double check capitalization, all that, blah, blah, blah. So post your name again and get it correct, please. The main issue I have with the GP4 is its strap system. And the fact the rubber isn't all that flexible. The Polish one is better than the GP4. Is it the ML it's called? I've got like basically what's a Polish variant of the GP4, and it's a lot better because the rubber's just more flexible and, clings to your face better. I'd say to you, don't use a S10 when you're airsofting, but if I can't stop you, get all the bits to shield the front so it doesn't get cracked by BBs. And then maybe I'd say just get a metal filter, in all honesty. Yeah, you've got me on there anyway, Marcus. I don't mind when you do it. It's just because there's a few people, like I said, most of the people that are on my friends thing at the moment are the people I'm happy to do it. It's just annoyingly I've had some people on there get shitty at me because somebody else in the server said something and I don't want to, tell the admins about it properly. So I'm just going to complain to you that somebody's allowed to have a different opinion. All right, let me try that again, Train Spotter. But I don't mind, Marcus, because when you ask, you're generally asking legit questions. I don't mind with some people that I chat with a lot on here, if they just are feeling a bit shit and want to say hello. It's still not working. It says, didn't work, double check the spelling, blah, 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 blah. In all honesty, Sam, I don't see why with a lot of jobs they insisted people go back just to go home again. But yeah, I'm going back to work really soon, thankfully, but I'm kind of worried that with all the stuff going on, I'm not going to be back very long before I'm furloughed or made redundant, just because at the moment it seems such a shaky thing to have a lot of businesses reopening. Okay, so you posted your name with a capital and it shouldn't have a capital. Done. Probably 9 p.m. UK time, so 30 minutes time. Right, once you've accepted it, let me know. Keaton is showing me a picture of a therapy where he's got 339 microsieverts, again, shortening his life. Yeah, I'm hopefully back at work this weekend, Radioactive Cow. I'm really looking forward to it because I've just not been at work in ages and I want to be out the house doing something like a job, because I've not even been volunteering recently because I was told, for the safety of volunteers, you're not allowed in when I volunteer with the Blue Cross. So I'm looking forward to going back to work. It's just I really have no idea how all the safety stuff's going to work, and that's kind of what worries me. If it was really well thought out and everything, it might be. It might be where I work. They might have done a really good job of it when I go back. It's just, I'm always a bit skeptical because of the amount of supermarkets and that I've been in where the one-way systems clearly don't work, Yeah, do you think Keaton's a Bond villain, pretending he's like a 13-year-old Canadian? Well, yeah, the PBF looks very stalkerish because obviously there was like a 40mm variant of that in Stalker. I've never had any issues with any of my 3M masks, but bear in mind the 3M masks aren't really designed for stuff like mustard gas. They're designed for basically what's it? I'm trying to think of the name of it. Right, I've invited you, Pavel. As soon as you get in, I will delete the thing. Just sadly, Yorkshire Tom, it seems more and more of Europe seems to be growing in figures really quickly again. It's actually, sadly, it seems to be, right, you've accepted it, good. Right, now, that means I can remove friend, there you go. Right, done. Israeli M15s would be fine. Yeah, I was speaking to my cousin at the funeral the other day, and my cousin's been at work every day because his job's been one that, because I think, if I remember right, he works on building sites doing carpentry, like for like wooden beams and all like stuff like that, when they're fitting them into houses or renovations. So he was saying for him, nothing's changed. But for me, it's like the complete opposite, where everything I did just got stopped. Obviously, thankfully, I still did YouTube and that didn't stop. But, I like both the job and my volunteer role, both were things where we got furloughed or just told not to come in. That's good, James. I mean, not good, obviously, about COVID, but it's good that you've got good masks for your family and, good filters and all that. And I'm glad you find the videos useful. But, you know, I'd say if it's my family, I'd rather give people, you know, overkill protection like C50s than, you know, risk using a mask like this. But sadly, some of my relatives don't seem to get, you know, understand why some masks are better than others. Yeah, I mean, lots of this stuff, resident of City 17, they should have just done from the beginning, shouldn't they? Like some other countries did that did much better than us. You know, if you're out on public transport or in a shop, you need to wear a face covering. Wow, that was hard. No, in the UK, we need to take months to decide to do it and then take even longer to say it will be enforced. Well, I can get military and surplus why some companies do that so they can't be sued, but it is weird when you see a mask that's far more protective than something like this, and then they say, you know, something like this does protect from COVID, but you know, like a proper military respirator doesn't. It's like that doesn't make sense. Which one's the Arax Pitter bot? So let me search it up. But I know with a lot of masks, the issue is that the oh yeah, like those cycling little masks. Yeah, I know with a lot of masks, the issue is that obviously the filter size, although they do filter stuff, is too, you know, the virus microns are still too small and some will get through. But obviously, the logic is with those that you're cutting out a massive amount getting through, you know, as opposed to everything getting through if there was no mask. But yeah. Weirdly, I had two masks like that, bots. One of them, the ear bit snapped and I threw it away. The other one I gave to a friend when it was still in it packaging, and I think it broke on him pretty quickly. And that wasn't for corona stuff. That was just to give protection from hay fever. And guess what? It wasn't even good for that. Loads of pollen still got through those. Oh, thanks both of you that have just donated. So Marcus says, wearing masks of exhale valves around vulnerable people is a dick move. Don't go to the hospital. I'd say you can do it. Just do what I was saying earlier, and just do the thing to cover the exhale valve with a bit of cloth. You know, so when you breathe out, it's the same as if you're wearing a surgical mask. Beagle says, you answered me so many questions and I learned so many things about gas masks and fallout with you, things that are being useful today. So thanks. I'm glad you find the videos helpful. As I said, I just enjoy doing it as a hobby, and it's great when people enjoy them, you know. No, you can't have that mask on behind me. I'm afraid I would literally give you a link to them, but I couldn't find any more after I got that one. But yeah, basically, what I was saying to people that you can do, if I've got a little bit of, let's get a bit of kitchen roll and I can demonstrate it. So let's get some kitchen roll, right? I know this isn't an ideal thing, but here's some kitchen roll. Here's the exhale valve on a mask. Well, they should do Sinmonger, because I'd say a mask like this where you cover the exhale valve is better than a surgical mask. So yeah, what I've been doing with some of the masks is just basically, and obviously you could do a much better job than this if you wanted to, fold a bit of paper over a bit, you know, sandwich the cover back on, and then basically you can put the mask on now, and, you know, the spittle is just going into that bit of paper, and then at the end of the day you can bin that piece of paper and put a fresh bit in. Or even better, you could get materials used in surgical masks or some sort of little heaper thing and put that in, you know. But yeah, the air still comes out. There's just way more resistance there now. So again, I don't see why with most masks people can't do that, or just literally put a surgical mask over the exhale valve. Yeah, I saw that there was a teaser trailer for Stalker 2, but sadly you don't see much in it. It's not really do Corona either, is it? But the people who annoy me the most in Monger are the people who wear like the mesh masks, you know, the things that they on purposely know don't protect themselves or other people. But they're like, oh, I'm being told to wear a mask, so I'm going to literally wear something that benefits nobody just so I can say I'm wearing a mask. Yeah, that's part of the problem, Stuart, as Marcus said. With a lot of companies, they have to go through certain supply channels to get the stuff for staff, and that ends up kind of biting them in the arse when there was stuff like Corona. Because as I said, when I gave some masks to family members and friends of the family to begin with, I wanted to give some to like doctors and nurses near me. Thank you, Special Eddie. That's not cheap beer money. If it's $10, I can get a few cans for that, but thank you. But, you know, the point was that, you know, they're not allowed to accept them essentially because lots of them, except for some doctors that were being forced to make makeshift PPE, you know, out of stuff, or literally get whatever they could find, were literally being told that, you know, unless it's stuff we're supplying you with, you know, you're breaking your rules of working with us. It should work fine with it will work fine with an FMJ05 Yorkshire Tom. What you want to do is unscrew the front plastic cover on the FMJ05, and under that cover is both the exhale valve and the voice diaphragm. Just put some, you know, put surgical mask material or whatever there, paper there, tighten it back up again, and that'll work. Because how the exhale valve and voice diaphragm system works on those masks, the exhale valve is like the outer circle, the inner circle is the voice diaphragm. Yeah, let me just go get something from the other room, which would be useful for me to use as some of my masks that Hype sent me. So what I've got in here is basically the surgical mask material in like flat filter form that Hype sent me, and it's designed to go into certain masks, but because obviously he also gave me the P3 or like the P2 pads, he said obviously just use those for your own protection because they're better. But I think with these, yeah, you could very easily, you know, get something like this and then use that over an exhale valve, and that would you know, this would actually be pretty good for just giving you a bit of exhale protection to somebody else. So yeah, let's try that with the mask I was just holding up wherever I put it. I'll probably have to cut it to size. But yeah, so let's have a look. Assume we'd want it that way around. Let's just do this and see if it goes on. Yeah. So what I could do then is just cut around that, and then I'd have a proper inside of an S6. Hard to say. They definitely fit on the because it'd be very hard to put them in an S6, I think, because of how the exhale valve works. Because the exhale valve is essentially under a bit of rubber, isn't it? Can the mods please time people out that keep spamming the same sort of weird questions over and over that have no relevance to the stream? Cheers. But yeah, so these seem quite handy. Apparently, Hype was saying these are really cheap in China because they're subsidized by the government now for people to actually buy them, you know, so people are using all this stuff. But yeah, you might be able to just simply put one of these. I think, yeah, to a degree, Yorkshire Tom, you could probably just stick one of these. Like, let me show you an example with this mask. Like, let's just assume this is an S6. I know it's not. But yeah, I think what you probably could do is just simply yeah, just do that. And the mask would still work. But yeah, most of the air you're breathing out would be going through a valve that way. I mean, obviously, the masks that are better are the ones where you can directly put them on the other side of the valves. But yeah, these are really handy. I'm definitely going to have to cut some of these to size now and make them as proper exhale covers for some of my masks. Because, again, that would be better for everyone because it's giving other people more protection as well. Yes, Spaciani masks are excellent, Delgado. I really like the TR2002. Gives you good, it's comfortable enough. You get a good range of view. Even if you've got a short beard, it will still fit fairly well. Right, thank you again, Apache. Right. In terms of guarantees of working, you want a new filter. In terms of, a filter just simply being a filter, there's not much difference between old and new filters. It's just some bits in filters can expire. Does that make sense? Obviously, the filter medium and everything plays a part as well, but well, that's the thing I was saying. You will get more resistance if you're breathing out with one of those things there, because the valve isn't opening as much because the air is flowing through it slower, which is, it doing its job basically. Because there used to be no standardized filter type, military and surplus. So people just made whatever sizes they thought were sensible. There wasn't any special logic to it. So my favorite gas mask is still, wait for it, the Avon. Wait for it, CT12. Yeah, so essentially what I need to do is just get this to clip on and then cut around it. That might be easier said than done, but I was hoping I could just do that and it would cut it to, the right shape, but unfortunately it won't. But yeah, I have to cut around. I wonder, can I rip that now? Will that rip, or is that too... It's actually quite a tough material to try and rip that stuff. No, that's going to rip under it. Right, I'll have to get a new one in a minute, and then I'll leave that there because I can probably cut it for little smaller valves on some of them, but yeah, I'll have to cut it with scissors. Oh yeah, gas masks will protect you from tear gas. Are you saying if to make your own, you could do it. It'd be pretty difficult to make one that makes a good face seal, but all right, Altrix. But yeah, unlike Special Eddie saying, some masks it's really easy because you can just literally come up with quite an easy way to make an exhale, system go through a proper filter. There you go. Sparrow said it. There's a CT12 on eBay at £75. All of you go bid on it. No, don't have to if you don't want to. That is quite expensive for a CT12, but they don't turn up very often. Is it the tin that has the optical inserts in it, shown Jupiter, as in the anti-fog inserts? I think that's probably what it is, a little metal tin that has the celluloid in that you put inside to stop the bit fogging up. I didn't see those individual pictures, Beagle, but I know a lot of police forces use the M50, C50, and FM12 plus other masks. So that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, you can literally see a clock behind me, and it is the right time on that clock. Well, any mask being worn all day will get pretty uncomfortable. So it's pretty hard to say. It will depend on what you find comfortable in a mask. Thank you, James Kurt. The only thing I can think of, Antonio, is if you can get some of those either like... It might sound weird, but if you could get the good airsoft goggles, not like cheap crap airsoft stuff, but really good airsoft goggles, they might be good because some of them are designed to stop, BBs going at like 500, 600 meters per second. They'd work to a degree. I like ski goggles, but obviously you'd have to get pretty good ski goggles to have them be really impact proof. I think there are companies, though, in the US that do make essentially like goggles and glasses that are meant to be really resilient. And thank you very much again, James. I appreciate it. Assume if it's Ratnik, they're Russian, are they? I've never actually looked at Ratnik goggles, but again, there's lots of stuff you can find that's probably designed to be pretty impact resistant and strong, Yeah, I think for the practicality, Sparrow, they're not really worth it. They're cool, but for what they cost and the practicality, I assume they drain batteries pretty fast as well. Because obviously a Nixie tube consumes a lot more electricity than the standard watch battery would in a quartz watch. As I've been saying to people, personally, I would say if you're wearing a face respirator or a full face respirator, just get a riot helmet or a motorcycle helmet that will work with it, and cover your eyes. Or maybe some sort of sports helmet. So yeah, I tell you to buy an actual mask, Special Eddie, and Google thinks I meant a little surgical mask. I've heard of Oakley goggles. Personally, I've never bought any of their stuff, so I don't know, but I have heard they make really strong goggles. So as long as they make a good seal to your face, I think it would be fine. When you say Drago, do you mean Drager? I know of Drager filters, and Drager filters are fine, especially the modern ones. Yep, Beagle, as you've donated, what's your Discord ID? If Altrix is on now, Altrix can probably invite you in while I keep talking to people. Call of Pripyat's my favourite Stalker game just because it works the best out of the packet. But I kind of have a soft spot for Clear Sky. I mean, Shadow of Chernobyl is like the original and the best in many ways, but MC1s are fine for being a very cheap mask. It's just, they're very cheap mass-produced communist masks. There's nothing special about them, but, they exist. Henry says, can we pump it up to 100 likes? Well, it's almost there. I think it needs 2 more likes. Yeah, you've donated as well. You'll have to get your Discord IDs in quite quickly, though, for the people that donated. Because, I was going to say, I'm finishing the stream in a few minutes. Yeah, it went from less than 100 likes to 120 pretty quickly, didn't it? But anyway, I'll just let the thing stay on a minute so Altrix can get those IDs. And then I will head off. But thank you everyone that's donated. Quite a few people did tonight. As said, there won't be a stream this Saturday. I'm going to try and get a stream done tomorrow and Friday. But sadly, it seems again, tomorrow I'm going to be waiting in all day for a parcel that might not come. Fun. And, Friday I'll probably stream earlier in the day, not the evening. Altrix, what, it won't send the IDs, do you mean, that you're trying to add? PMGs are fine, other than the fact the filters hang off the side because of the soft rubber design. But yeah, I'll give it a couple more minutes so you can get the things done. But yeah, it was a good stream tonight because for the most part it stayed on topic. But with Corona or just gas mask type stuff. I suppose I could, Oliver, but that kind of comes up on every stream when we talk about gas masks and body armor and whatever else. Right. Right. Is the CM6M Delgrado, before I go off, is that one of the masks Myra just rebrands that's a Czech military mask? It's probably absolutely fine as a Czech military mask. If Myra is selling it for a massive inflated price, don't buy it from Myra. So yeah, anyway, I'll be off now, but thank you everybody. In all honesty, Chocolate Muffin, Poland's doing a much better job at dealing with it than us. So, if you go from the UK, if you're in the UK, aren't you, to Poland, I'm sure you'd be a lot safer there than you would be here. I think it'd be more likely Poland would go, Brits, please do not come in. I don't know if that sounds very Polish, but, you're very likely to infect us because, we've not been doing a good job in Western Europe. Yeah, see you all. Have a good evening. Good night.